We should have some music to
Hello,
roll in.
brothers and sisters, and welcome to Temple 420, Sesh number 23. I'm here with CraigX.
Peace.
We're here hanging out as our normal Saturday session.
Peace.
I'll start out here too with a prayer here before we get started. Dear Almighty God, thank you for the blessings you give us. Thank you for this holy week where we've been able to think about you and salvation you brought us through sending your son. Thank you for the word and discussion we're about to have and share. May those watching be blessed and encouraged to follow you and seek you out. May you encourage them through their lives.
Amen. All right.
How are you guys doing this week?
Oh, someone else join us?
I haven't seen anybody yet.
Oh, who's you guys? Me and my family?
Yeah.
Oh, we got lots of food. We've been getting like 20 eggs a day. My son started his egg business. Did I tell you about that yet?
Yeah, we actually had a snippet of that several people enjoyed seeing. I
Oh,
that because I thought maybe it'd be encouraging and fun.
yeah. Well, I had a job since I was 6, and my dad did too. We both started young. My son's 9, so I'm like, bro, you got to get a job now. He's like, what can I do? What can I do? I'm like, we got like 80 eggs right here. Why don't you go to sell some? And I let him keep the money, and that really incentivized him to keep going. And now he's like, he considers himself a little entrepreneur here.
Did you ever see how gun ho and pushy, not in a bad way, but Kent Hovind was about that too, which I thought was always neat.
No, what was he gung ho and pushy about?
About making your own money and getting your own stuff out there. Really talk, because he would run into a whole bunch of people that are like, "Hey, I don't have a job, I can't do anything." He's like, "Well, you can go out there and look and find small things to do. Like you can borrow a neighbor's ladder and then go around and offer the neighbors to clean their gutters or stuff like that." And I always thought that was a pretty neat push thing to say, "Hey, look for your resources, things around you, and you can use that to benefit others and make some income for yourself."
Yeah, I used to watch this Donnie Deutsch show. I mean, the guy's a flaming liberal, but he used to have a show about business, and every single episode was like, I was broke. I looked around what I had at the house. I had some brown sugar, some chocolate chips, and some Crisco, and now I'm Mrs. Fields, a billionaire. Like, but it was guys. I also I did the woman's business, but he really focused on really anyone, and they all seem to have the same story. I was broke. I looked around what was near that I could use, and then I turned it into a business. Sound like Ross Perot there. You got a nickel? Go ahead.
I think that's a good way to take things, kind of looking for what resources you've got and what you can offer others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that's the story of talents from Matthew 25. It might be Matthew 26, but where he says the 3 servants, the good and faithful one, he gives the first one 5 talents, the second one 2, and the last one 1. And the first 2 double their money for the master, and the third one buries it and doesn't even earn him any interest.
Yeah, parable of the talents was Matthew 25:14.
Yeah. We're still finishing Matthew. We're going at it pretty slow because we keep talking and talking the whole time, like bringing up lessons and then having discussions as we're reading it. So we're almost doing like 1 chapter a night through this book. We've done 3 a couple nights, but mostly we do 1 chapter a night. Have a lot of discussion around it. I'm so impressed.
A lot of discussion around it.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with my kids, how they're really learning the Bible. Like they know the stories. And have you ever heard of this game? We listen and we don't judge.
A little bit. I think you mentioned that one of the other times too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we play this game with the kids, and they're like, they know all the Bible stories, and I'm so like impressed. It makes me feel good. Like, all right, I'm doing okay here, teaching them the word.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, 'cause that was that one that you were giving the stories to, and then you were asking, "Who am I?"
Yeah, exactly. We listen, we don't judge.
I myself is always bouncing around places. I think this week, other than the weekly Bible study, I was bouncing through Galatians a lot,
Hmm.
finding quite a few things through there. It
And
was,
who wrote Galatians? Was that Paul?
I believe so. Yes.
He wrote most of the epistles, so it's always a good guess to guess him.
Yeah, because that's also the one at the end of it too that he says, "Hey, I'm writing this really big." My understanding, since he had that bad eyesight and stuff like
Oh,
that. Since he got stoned that one time, and then his eyes were kind of funky afterwards. After he
hey,
survived the stoning.
man, I think sometimes my eyes get blurry after getting stoned. I haven't gotten stoned in 10 days, bro. Well, I just stopped smoking weed. I kind of made a deal with God I want to get High Times magazine. So
Mhm.
I was like, all right, I'm going to give something up, almost as like a fast or a sacrifice. Just so,
Right?
and it really hasn't been bad. I've actually kind of, everything's good. You know, I love weed, but
Mhm. Right.
I've been, I've been feeling real healthy.
I do that at times, and I think it's a good kind of mentality thing. I think I may be doing it some in May, is what I'm kind of feeling led to do. But just to kind of even show our mentality that that's not something that's required
Right.
required for us, and something that we hinge on, that we're using God and God's behind us, that we don't need alcohol or caffeine or weed or any of those. So a lot of times I'll set all those to the side and say I'll just rely on God to get me through.
Right. And I've still felt high and had cotton mouth.
So getting naturally high.
Yeah, well, I've been lifting weights and working out every day, which has been nice too. I got this baby coming, so I'm trying to get in better shape.
Nice. That'd be good.
Yeah, and you know what I noticed? I haven't been because I'm 60 years old, and I'll be 60 this year, and I pee a lot at night. And I haven't for the 10 days that I've been working out hard and quit smoking weed. And I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's convenient because it's such a pain in the butt to be getting up 3, 4 times a night to go pee. Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
to be, yeah, and I've been like, I only sleep 6 hours, but I've been sleeping right through the night, the whole 6 hours. It's just kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
You
I
hear,
ran that issue myself, but I've been trying to take more water and do more exercise because I've got hypertension getting up there. So trying to figure that out and get that better. But it was driving me nuts because with all the water intake, I was getting up 3 to 5 times at night. And like, I'm not even sleeping here.
exactly. What's hypertension? The high blood pressure?
Yeah, where your blood pressure gets up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've never taken medicine for that, but I've been told. Well, when I went to jail, and they were feeding me shitty food, I was nervous. They're like, "You got high blood pressure. We can't let you get out of jail until your blood pressure comes down." And I said, "Well, I'm not taking any medicine for it. I'll try meditating." They finally let me out, anyways. But it was that was the only. I guess that was the last time I saw a doctor. It was when I was in county jail for Temple 420.
that's wild.
Yeah, I just don't really believe in doctors. I don't. I just trust Jesus for my healing. And
Right. I would have to say most that on myself because I've actually been working with a holistic doctor because I don't understand a lot of what these medical doctors are trying to do. They're trying to like tackle the issue that you're having, but not what's causing the issue. And then they
mm-hmm.
don't want you to ever take anything except for drugs to help with the issue that you're experiencing, which gives you more issues. So I've gone to that holistic doctor that gives me natural ways to work on it and natural medications. So tackling it that way to see what I can do to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
It's got better, but I don't know. It's still kind of a wild little thing there.
Okay.
Your screen
So
went dark on us now.
it did because a friend of mine wanted my location. He wanted to come visit, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
trying to send him my location. But let me jump back. I apologize for
No,
going dark on you. There you go.
did he leave or did he go somewhere? Like,
Oh no, I didn't go anywhere.
but
I'm
I still
chilling.
heard you. So like he's
I'm
still on the
chilling.
line.
I'm chilling here on my bridge. Ugh.
Well, that's such a cool little way.
See my little chair on the bridge?
Nice.
Oh, look at all these chicks digging in here. Can you see the chicks?
Yeah.
Searching for worms. I haven't fed them yet. I sometimes only feed them every other day because we got 3 acres for them to go hunting on, and it saves money and it keeps them more organic.
So does that bridge go have water under it when it gets rainy? Or
Yeah, but it will be. This was my lazy river. Did I tell you about my friend Freddie dying here? Well, not dying here, but dying.
I think so. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
Freddie was building this, and then when he died, we stopped. And then we just had other priorities before finishing it. Um, and then I ran a little low on cash as I was dealing with some court stuff that was expensive. But I'm selling my church in West Virginia now. I've got a party that's interested.
You had one before too. Did they not go through with it, or is it the same
No,
one?
no, I sold the land next to the church.
Oh, okay.
I had two separate lots.
Oh,
So I
yeah, you did. That makes sense.
so I sold the land, and now I'm selling the church itself.
Nice. That was a pretty
Yeah,
cool setup there.
it was a beautiful building, and I loved being in Wheeling, West Virginia. But even though we were used only for religious purposes, the lesbian county assessor hates God and really didn't like me at all. The fact that I was running a church there, and they said, "Well, we need taxes more than we need another church in this town." And even though I bought the building for 30,000, she assessed me at 360,000, and it was like almost $10,000 a year in taxes, and it was just ridiculous. Uh, and they did it all illegally, and I just it was a nightmare. And I can't stand government. That's why I like living out here in the middle of the jungle. No one ever comes to visit us. I don't need any permits to build. I can build whatever the heck I want, and clearly I make it good quality and safe because it's my family in here. I don't need anything falling down. So I use professional builders, and I'm the architect, and I'm learning. So it's been a fun learning experience.
That one in West Virginia who was like that was that one who used to be a guy, wasn't it?
Oh, Rosemary Ketchum.
Or was that a different one?
You're talking about the city council woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch got bigger arms than me. She's all like, "Rrr." And yeah, you can look her up, Rosemary Ketchum.
I figured maybe that was the one that didn't like your church coming was like
No,
more.
no, I actually, believe me, I like that dude. He wasn't a bad guy. I don't believe in all that. You're not going to become a woman. You're still a dude in a dress. He
Right.
didn't he didn't cut off his schlong. And if you're a gay guy and you think that's a good strategy for getting men, like, more power to you.
Even when you
Uh,
do that, you just become a eunuch. You don't become a woman.
yeah, exactly. Well, and is the eunuch castration cutting your nuts off and leaving your schlong there, though, right? I don't know if we should be talking about this with a Bible class, but
You're right.
uh, I still like the reality is you're never going to change sexes. God picked what you're going to be, and that's what you're going to be.
Yeah, to my understanding, the eunuchs can be anything across the spectrum too. With that, if it didn't develop, or if you had it removed for some kind of punishment, stuff like that. And some people were born eunuchs according to the Bible, which we still see, I guess, today too. Men
The
aren't
Catholic
fully
the
developed.
Catholic Church did that to kids too. They called them the castrati.
So
So they could have that high, beautiful singing voice and not have them really go through puberty and have their voices deepen. Some
great.
pretty crazy stuff.
I heard they used to do it for the harems too, because they wouldn't then mess with the women, but they would be defensive and like kind of protect the harems, and protect all the women in there.
Yes, I heard that as well. That the people the those were eunuchs who would take care of the women, and they had no nuts.
That's a wild way to do it, but I guess it.
Yeah, guys, just I keep thinking of Candace. That's the second time I've thought of Candace Owens in the last 2 minutes. Uh, do you ever follow her?
I have a little bit, and I've seen things here and there. She seemed really smart. I haven't seen what she's done as recently though.
She's super intelligent. Are you seeing me zoom in, or am I just zooming in on the screen?
I don't see me zooming in on my side.
Oh, okay. I saw one of those TikTok birds over here with the long tails. We get a lot of wild birds here, especially because we have this water feature and it's in the middle of the dry season. So for the next 2 months, like I said, when it gets super hot, they can tell we have water because of all the green trees around us. And they fly in here and they start. I think they might eat some of the fish, but they also drink water in our little pond here. I got to get the kids to clean that pool out. It's got a lot of leaves. But this little pool right here is full of fish, and the birds come and drink the water. And this is my little chinampa that I put over. You know what a chinampa is?
I think I've heard you mention that before, but
Yeah, the Aztecs, their whole city was built on water, and they used to put like this land over it. Like I can go stand on there. I'm growing potatoes on there right now. I've got some ferns growing on here, and there's a lot of fish. There's a big one down there. I don't know if you can see him, but he's real big. Can you see any of the fish?
yeah, that's one.
Anyway, so it's a good place to grow food over water, and you have that water resource right there.
There's a chicken all behind you.
Yeah, there's one sneaky one over there, and some of these guys over here. Whenever they're hungry, I know. This is a day I might feed them later, but I'm letting them do some hunting and gathering right now. I throw lots of little seeds on the ground for them to pick through. But I feel like we should get to the Bible. Let's talk about God here.
All right.
What are you reading now?
I was kind of in and out through Galatians here.
That's what you were saying. And what did you get out of it?
It had some interesting things. I know one person pointed out too that it was talking about really trying to figure out the best way to explain it there with that. They said it was talking about how Israel through Abraham had the children come into it through Sarah and through Hagar, and how pretty much the ones that are under God are through Sarah, and you can become through Sarah, and then also the equivalence that really with Christ, the Gentiles and the Jews come together to be one, that there's no Jew or Gentile.
You see him charging right now?
Well, yeah. I wondered where they're going.
Oh, they probably think there's some food over there. So they cluck once they lay an egg and they run. But when they come running after me, I feel like they're little mini T-Rexes chasing me. So, yeah, Sarah was the chosen wife, and she was the wife of promise. And she was the one who, she was like, hey, maybe God said you're going to be the father of many nations. Maybe you should get down with my housekeeper or slave that I brought from Egypt, Hagar, and that's who he had Ishmael with. And then the angels came and talked to her and said, nope, you're going to get pregnant. Remember, she laughs, and that's why they named him Yitzhak, laughter, when she had the son. And so now you had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. And then one day, Ishmael started shooting toy arrows at the baby. And Sarah said, you got to get rid of this woman and this child, because he's going to end up killing Isaac for the inheritance. And so he sent Hagar, and Ishmael away, and they went back to Egypt. And he's the father of the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, probably most all Muslims consider themselves descendants of Abraham through Ishmael. And in their story, they're the ones of promise. And what's interesting is that there's billions, or I think there's over 1 billion Muslims. And there's very few descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, where there's only like 7 million in America, 7 million in Israel, and a few scattered around the rest of the country still. Yeah, so but he still is the father of many nations.
It was interesting. I always thought that they both thought they were children of Sarah, but I guess that when you go Muslim, they think that both kids were both kids of Hagar, which really throws the story off, and I get why they're misled quite a bit there.
Yeah, well, and maybe Sarah, I think also what happened was Hagar, once she had the son, she felt a little emboldened and empowered because I'm the one giving Abraham this son here, his heritage and descendants. And, that's a big deal to have children in back. It's still a big deal now.
There's actually the specific one too, the example of Hagar and Sarah in Galatians, not 4:20, but 4:21.
Start with 4:20. Go ahead and read it.
4:20 was, I wish I could be with you there now and could change the tone of my voice because I'm deeply concerned about you. Tell me, you who desire to be under the law, why do you not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, one by a bondmaid and one by a free woman. But who was born of the bondmaid was born after the flesh. He was who was born of the free woman was born by promise. Now these things are a symbol of the two covenants. The one from Mount Sinai give girls birth to bondage, which is Hagar. For Hagar is the Mount Sinai in Arabia, and surrenders to Jerusalem, which is now and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above free, and is the mother of us all. For it is written, make merry, O you barren who bear not, rejoice and cry. O you will travail not, for the children of the forsaken are more numerous than the children of the one who is favored. Now we, my brethren, are the children of promise, as was Isaac. But as there was one born after the flesh, persecute him, and born after the spirit. Even so it is now. Nevertheless, what does the scripture say? Cast out the bondmaid and her son, and the son of the maidservant shall not inherit the son of the free woman. So then, my brethren, we are not children of the maidservant, but children of the free woman.
Yeah, that's exactly as I understand it too.
That's interesting too. Galatians 4:27 exactly said what you said there too.
Yeah. Maybe because you know what, I don't memorize the Bible, which I should, but I know the parts so well that that I don't know, it just comes to me sometimes like that. I've been doing this for so many years, like I did with my kids. My kids are sleeping in the gym last night. Hey, listen, for some reason, I was at 20% when we started, and I'm already down to 3%.
Uh-oh.
So I may lose you at any second, and I'm not ditching you. I'm just going to go until it dies.
Gotcha.
But let's keep going with sticking with the Bible rather than just chit-chatting. I do enjoy the chit-chatting. I hope people enjoy some of that because I feel like I like to share this natural lifestyle of living closer to the ground. I've been looking at condos on the beach. They always send me advertisements because I live here in the Yucatan. They think I'm a tourist or something, and they want me to buy a condo on the beach. And I was just thinking, wow, it's so lovely. And then they really emphasize, and it's by shops and restaurants. And I
Wow.
thought, and that's the one thing I'm not near. Like for us to go shopping and to go to restaurants, we kind of have to go. So like it's a journey. So we eat at home a lot, and we produce a lot of our own food. But I just thought, man, and I noticed yesterday at the market how much the inflation was up. Like the chocolate milk that we buy used to be 209 pesos, like less than 4 years ago. And now it's 309 pesos. The coffee used to be 86 pesos, and now it's 156 pesos.
Oh,
So
wow.
all within the last couple years, we've experienced this huge inflation here in Mexico, and without increasing income very much for the people or us. So I could imagine how difficult it is for some of the people who live in our village to buy some of the, not the basic staples, but the luxuries like coffee and hot chocolate. Oh shit! One of my little chicks has gotten out,
Uh-oh.
and I see him hopping around here outside, and I need to go rescue him right now.
Gotcha. I say, wonder
Maybe
if
it's, yeah.
nice.
Look at this little guy. What he's thinking he's doing here. Do you see him? Can you see him?
Stopped and went,
Yeah,
there he is.
buddy, I gotta catch you. Yeah. Oh crap. Yeah, he could get hurt out here, and he's not gonna go in by himself.
That's no good.
Almost.
Trying to see in
Coming to get you, buddy.
Galatians was actually the one too I pulled up because it has the answer to what we run with Charlie talking about that Christ was cursed for being on the
Got
tree
him.
as well, which he always brings up. Just trying to see exactly where that one breaks down though. But essentially he took on the curse for us so that we would be saved there, and was trying to convey that to him online there or on our Facebook.
I can't believe this.
Oh, did he run out of battery or get close off? Let's see, looking here. Add to the stage. See here, because oftentimes he would pull up and say that it was that he was cursed by the tree. I know it's like Craig ran out of power there. So I'll kind of go through what some of these things I learned here in Galatians, see what kind of thing I can put here with it. One of these things I run into too is apparently then they were also turning to other gospels and other ideas, which they, of course, told them there is no other. Galatians 1:6, I'm surprised how soon you've turned to another gospel away from Christ who has called you for your grace, a gospel which does not exist. I bet these are the men who've stirred you up and want to pervert the gospel of Christ. But though we are an angel of heaven, and to preach any other gospel to you than that we've preached to you, let him be accursed. For I have said before, and say it again, if any other man preaches any other gospel to you than that I have received, let him be accursed. And do I not persuade you? Do you not persuade men or God? Do I seek to praise men? For I tried to praise men. I should not be a servant of Christ. Oh, nice eggs there.
Yeah, I got my very first white one ever yesterday, which was weird. I rescued that little one. It made me think of the time where Jesus gives the parable, if you're a shepherd and you got 100 sheep and one breaks away, will you go to get that one? And you'll feel so joyful that you just rescued him. So I feel real happy I happened to be there and we saw that little guy to save his butt. So I'm down to 1% now, so I am going to lose you any second, I know.
Gotcha. I wondered if you there was.
Can you see me in the window?
I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a goofball. So I'm gonna lose you. So I'm gonna stick on here until we say goodbye. But I mean until I get cut off. But I apologize. I cut you off from the Bible. Go back.
No worries. I was just wrapping up that one too, where it said nobody else would bring any other gospel to you. I thought that was a good spot.
Oh, there was one that reminded me of Charlie the other day, where Matthew 24. He said, "Many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, I am the Messiah." He's like, "Don't be fooled." And because does Charlie send you verses all the time?
He doesn't send to me, but he usually posts him on the Facebook for Temple 420 in response to things that I say.
he texts me all the time. Because you remember, he thinks he's the Messiah reincarnated, but yet I don't want to say anything negative about Charlie. I love Charlie, but I just think it's sad in some ways that he's always trying to quote the Quran and say that he's the Messiah. That's the things that I find frustrating, because it says, they'll say, if they say he's over here, he's over there in some special hidden spot, or I'm the Messiah, don't believe him. And yet Charlie's like, nope, it's me. But I know a couple people with the Messiah complex too.
Right. One of them I was trying to bring up to him this week was there from the Galatians 2, Galatians 3:10, which addresses specifically where he tells us all the time that it can't be Jesus because Jesus was cursed on the cross there.
Right. Well, and it is a curse to be hung on the cross, but he was cursed for us.
Right.
Like he took on that curse for us. Even the thorn of crowns, the thorns. I think he's mentioned that too. Is it like a curse? But that's what a great God we have, that he took on that for us so that we could be saved and not lost, like that one sheep.
Gets me too, because that one also goes back and talks about how if you're trying to follow the book of the law, then you're cursed in that manner. And that's oftentimes what he gets. Says, hey, we got to go back to the law and stuff like that. Like Christ sets us free.
Right. Well, I mean, the law still counts, but we're not burdened by it, because what the law is there to do is to show you that you're a sinner and that you need a savior, and that only a blood sacrifice can atone for our sins, as was the example with Adam and Eve when he killed animals to make skins to clothe them in their nakedness. And
exactly.
Yeah. I was trying to find a second example too, but that was the first one that popped in my head. But I guess just Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, when they sprinkle the blood on the Ark of the Covenant.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. And Ron Wyatt, do you know who Ron Wyatt is?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. When he discovered the Ark of the Covenant, he said it was right under where Jesus was sacrificed. And that may have been why there was that earthquake, so that the blood of his blood could get all the way down to the Ark.
I like that theory a lot. That was a pretty interesting theory.
And Jesus was sacrificed on the exact same mountain where Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, and then Isaac was saved by a ram or a goat who got stuck in a thorn bush, which is also very prophetic about our King. Christ is King. Oh yeah, that's what Candace Owens again. That's what Candace Owens is getting all in trouble for saying Christ is King, and they're saying that's anti-Semitic. And
yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that quoting the Bible can be anti-Semitic or hateful, and I don't know. This is some weird stuff that's going on, even in our country right now under Trump. And even though I like him, And I'm glad he came out and talked about Christ for the holiday. But it's still, if you can't quote the Bible without going to jail, which I think is happening in England, if you quote the Bible to like a gay person, you can go to jail for hate speech.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that country's falling apart.
That's the biggest crazy thing. It used to be that for these people who were woke and gay and stuff like that, but now it's going to be, hey, that's anti-Semitic too. And like, that's not what's going on with that.
Right. Well, the Jews are feeling a little under fire, and my dad and I were talking about this the other day. When I was a kid, my dad didn't support the Nazis, but he supported their right to free speech, those neo-Nazis in America, because he said, listen, once you take free speech away from one person, then they can take it away from anyone. And now they're using this anti-Semitic trope to take away free speech again. And it's always something to control and take away our speech. And it's so important to be able to discuss, debate, and share ideas, because if it's people aren't open about their views and ideas, then it goes underground and can become more, people can't say what they want with their words, then they tend to turn towards violence.
Yeah, I'd see that as a problem all in the whole. I try to tell the left people that say, hey, that stuff's an issue. Like, you want people expressing stuff, even if you don't like how people express it, like they put yard art out that you don't like. Then you know what their mentality is, what their thoughts are and stuff, rather than hiding it and putting it somewhere where they're going to erupt out and cause trouble or something like that. So you're getting their outward expression and you know more. Trying to prevent and silence that gets you nowhere. That gets really crazy. You drop with your 1% since you lost the battery there. Well, I was going to pull up here the Galatians 10 too, because that was the one that I shared in the group, which goes against the curse of the tree. That tells you how that exactly all plays out. Galatians 3:10 was, for those who rely on the works of the law are still under the curse, as for it is written, cursed is everyone who does not practice everything which is written in the book of the law. But no man is justified by the law before God is evident, for it is written, the righteous shall live by faith. This the law is not made by faith, but whoever shall do things written in the law shall live in it. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming accursed for our sakes. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on a cross. That blessed is Abraham. The blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we may receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Now, it's one of the good things that we get continuously through Galatians here is it keeps going back to relying on the faith, and the faith being the way that you get saved, not keeping the law. And because keeping the law is not possible, there's too much stuff, there's too many things to show us in the flesh that we cannot continue to do that, and that we fall short of that. Exactly as it says there, Christ is to come and satisfy the law, redeem us from the curse of the law, so that we can be saved through faith on the fifth side here. I think there might have been something else that I thought was a good one to share with that here. We talked about Hagar and Sarah. Those. It's a good one too here about bearing another's burdens, to have the spirit of meekness and some good ways with us. As here, I can have one thing stage at a time. Bear each other's burdens and help people through the spiritual here. Galatians 6:1, my brethren, if anyone be found at fault, you who are spiritual, restore him in a spirit of meekness, and be careful test you also be tempted. Bear one another's burdens, so that you fulfill the law of Christ. If a man thinks of himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. But let every man examine his own work. Then he may be glory within himself alone, and not among others. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him who is taught in the word become a partaker of him who teaches all good things. Do not be deceived. God is not deceived. For whatever a man sows, that he shall reap. For he sows the things of the flesh, from flesh he shall reap corruption. He who sows things of the Spirit, from the Spirit he shall reap life everlasting. Let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Therefore, we have the opportunity to let us do good to all men, especially those who belong to the household of faith. So we should be helping each other. We should be keeping our own to ourselves, but we should also share and development of our spiritual selves here with that. Also gets me the one with this in here. There's always the karmatic way of what you do, others do unto you. I think it's a even deeper, wild thing here that whatever a man does, that he sows, and that's what he should reap. That's much more than, hey, what we do comes back to us, because you're putting down a seed and it grows up a full plant that'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of seeds in its fruits that it comes. So you're way multiplying and changing by what you sow here, what you do to others. I'm very bad at seeing which verses I should jump through. There was a good one, I think. That was, I want to hit on real quick here. Find. We talked about living through faith, that you did not have to live through the law. Was on a video yesterday with Metaphysical Mike, and Metaphysical Mike was going through that with some discussions too, that as children of God too, you want to serve the law and you want to do righteousness for God. That when you love God, you want to love and to do his commandments. A lot of people are like, you don't need to keep the law. But one of the things I've always felt going through this and all with this, and it rang true in there when we discussed it, and it has continuously for me. If you are loving God and he's given these laws, these ways that you should go, the things that are good for your body and your spirit, and you're loving him, you're going to love the ideas that he's given forth, the ways that we can live, the ways we can take care of ourselves, the things that are the best for us. He's the Father that created us, and he knows the right way to go with that here. I think the last section here that I was looking at that I wanted to bring up too here was another about us justified by faith. If we who are of Jewish origin are not sinners of the Gentiles, know that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but faith Jesus Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that may have been justified by the faith in Christ, and not by the works of the law. For the works of the law shall no human be justified. But if we seek to be justified by Christ, ourselves are also found sinners. It is therefore our Lord Jesus Christ is as a minister of sin, far be it. For I build again these things which I destroyed. I will prove myself to be a transgressor of the law. For though the law, I am dead to the law, that I might live through God. I am crucified with Christ. Henceforth, It is not I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life in which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of God. For if righteousness comes by the means of the law, then Christ died in vain. So if getting saved by the law was what you would have to do, then Christ's death didn't make any matter, because that's not what you needed. You needed to live by the law. So now we've got faith, that we can have faith in Jesus Christ and be fulfilled through that and have everlasting life. I think that's really all I've got here today. We've got 45 minutes in, so I will give a prayer here before I see everybody out here. I thank you all for joining us and listening to our talk. Hopefully you guys got some enrichment through the word. Maybe there was a good blessing here for you. Dear Almighty living God, thank you for this Sesh that we got to have today, and going to your word and sharing it with each other. Thank you for the blessings you give us, helping us through the days. Help us be wise in the word and have understanding in it. Help us be on the right path and follow off what's righteousness that you give to us. Thank you for the blessings you give us. Amen. Thank you for attending with us, and have a great week coming up. For you guys that know the word, happy Resurrection Day. Happy Easter to those who celebrate Easter. God bless you.